It's about to start. Assalamu alaikum, peace be upon you. This is another episode of the JAMS Football Show with Kyle Harris, and we are joined by a special guest, Mr. Black Mamba, Mr. Azhar himself. Azhar, why don't you say hi to the viewers?
Hey everyone, how you guys doing?
As
You
we
too
see,
harsh. You too harsh. You're not
Well,
chopping.
you guys are on, but
hey, salam guys, and we'd like to welcome you guys to, I guess, our regular season wrap-up show.
Yeah, not only that, but it is also the preview for the playoffs. You got round one. We got 4 games this coming Sunday.
Mm-hmm.
This is exciting times. Exciting times. It's do or die. There's no buys in jams.
Mm-hmm.
If you're a 1 seed, you still got to play. And we saw some lower seeds actually upset a higher seed last year. And in fact, our special guest was a part of that. Azhar, do you want to tell us a little bit about you guys were ranked what seed last year? And you guys ultimately lost to Code Red, who was a lower seed.
yeah, to be honest, I don't really keep up with the rankings, and only because we've always been on the lower end of it. So I couldn't comment on what our rank was last year, probably last I would say.
No, we're talking
But
about
before we get into that, I mean, I kind of want to give the viewers some history on GPAC, right? Um, so GPAC really
Well,
started.
Azhar, hold on a second. We're talking about you with the Hurricanes last year.
Oh, Oh, right. I forget. So yes, I was with the Hurricanes last year, and we were ranked.
They were the third best
I
team last
guess
year.
probably fact check, but I think we were ranked third or probably second, maybe.
Yeah, you guys were third last year, and you guys ended up losing to Code Red in the playoffs, a team that we thought you guys had the upper hand against. What happened in that game?
Yeah, I mean that was a surprise to us too. I think Code Red played well. It was a very scrappy game, and it's funny because I think earlier that year we demolished Code Red, right? So we went into the game thinking, hey, this is an easy win for us. Turned out that they played harder than us. They were more aggressive. They had a lot of energy, and they took the game. I mean, I don't recall kind of every single play,
Mhm.
but I think they obviously made more plays than us, right, to win the game. So
All
that's
right.
that's about it. My recollection of the game.
Okay. So, Kyle?
Yeah, I remember catching part of that game, the tail end of the game, and it seemed like Code Red had a very, very good pass rush that game. Um, I remember Azhar making a comment saying that the quarterback from Code Red was telegraphing his throws and that we should have picked more balls off, etc. But nonetheless, good scrappy game. Came down to the wire. You thought Hurricanes, and they almost did pull it off. There was some type of play at the end. I think the guy caught the ball. I don't know if it was I think it was Randy who caught the ball, and I think he was out of the back of the end zone, which would have ultimately won them the game. Does that sound familiar, Horace or Azhar? Excuse me.
Yeah, I mean, I think you're right about that. The play that won it was they had this last throw to. I mean, and I'm really bad with names. The guy who plays for Boonton Bounty Hunters now. So someone I think Omar hit him down the sideline, and our again, I'm really bad with names. Someone missed a tackle on the sideline, and it was off to the races. And I was trying to make the last tackle, and I couldn't. And I think that's kind of the play that they won the game on that. And then Randy, after that, we had a drive. It was probably 30 seconds left or something, and threw a deep bomb to Randy. He caught it. He was, obviously it was called out of bounds, but that was a hell of a catch. But obviously, it didn't go down as we planned. So it was out of bounds. They caught. That was the end of the game. So that was the last game. It wasn't so much controversial as people think. He was clearly out. And, that was it for us.
All
All
right.
right.
Just goes to
So,
show you that anything can happen in these playoffs. Anyway, so let's get down. Let's talk about our power rankings, final season power rankings. We won't be doing one next week. And Horace and I have our usual list laid out. And Azhar, feel free to weigh in where you disagree, where you agree, comment where you feel free. So let me just go and share this. All right. Okay, so at the top spots, we have Swag, Union. You actually put the Knights up there, rightfully so. I'm surprised, Harsh, because usually you're the one who's been a little bit higher on the Spartans than me. I actually have the Spartans at 3, despite their loss to the Knights.
I mean, that loss is big, especially because I've said before the Knights had trouble with top four teams, and they beat a top four team pretty convincingly. I think the final score was 20-6.
20-6, that's correct.
hmm So, like, that's big time, honestly. This is a team that I've ranked. This is against a team that I've ranked, I think, first for like at least half the season.
Yeah,
So,
and my question is, because we've said at times Knights has had trouble putting up points. And not only did they put up 20 points, which is impressive in any game, but they put up 20 points against the Spartans, who had only allowed, 54 points going into that game, Horace?
yeah, it was something like that. The most they've ever given up in the game besides that was against the Union, where it's understandable. It's a Union. It was 20 points. But otherwise, nothing higher than 8.
Crazy to think. And so I don't know that we need to touch upon Swag and Union. They're our top 2 teams. They're primed for the championship again, as it looks. Actually, Horace, would they meet up with the current seeding? Would they meet up in the semifinals?
Hmm. I mean, I actually haven't properly looked at the bracket. It's just been listed out as times. But I'm guessing they could. I don't. I really don't.
Azhar, do you know the answer to that question?
What was the question? Sorry.
So the question is, I'm wondering if Swag and Union, they go out and win this week, are they going to meet up in the semifinals, before they ultimately meet up in the championship?
Uh, I'm probably not the best person to ask that question. That's you guys' domain because I don't know like how the seeding worked out. I know some of the matchups, but I just don't know who's in what kind of bracket. Um, yeah, to be honest with you, I wouldn't know who if they win. I don't know who they're playing next week, right? They might play each other. I don't know, or obviously if they do, then one of them is going to go to the final.
hmm Well, okay. I think if you just think about it, I don't think they really face each other unless they both win out, and I think it would be in the finals, wouldn't it? 1 beats 8, 2 beats 7, and then let's say 4 beats 5, 3 beats. Yeah, okay. So they wouldn't have to play each other until the finals if they both win out.
Kyle, we don't have to stay on the screen too much longer.
Okay.
We can move on.
Fair enough. Fair enough. All right. Dime City. I got Dime City at 5.
Dime
Horace.
City has not moved from that spot. They're in a tier of 1, and they're good, but just not good enough. But they're not worse than the teams below them.
Azhar, give us your opinion on this. Dime City or Boonton? They played head-to-head. Dime City won. But there's a part of me that wonders if Boonton is better than them. I certainly think that they have better skill position players than them. I'll give the line play to Dime City. Who do you think is better out of these 2 teams?
Yeah, look, I would say Dime City is probably a more complete team. Boonton Bounty Hunters, I mean, they have those 2 guys, right, that are just crazy athletes, right? So these guys can catch a punt and return it at any time. But I don't know if I could say aside from the 2 guys, and again, I'm really bad with names that you guys probably know about. I don't know if I can pinpoint someone and say, you know what, they have another playmaker, right? I think as far as a complete team goes, Dime City, they've got athletes all over, and us playing, we played them 2 weeks ago. Their line, like you said, is their beast, right? They don't, I usually could typically juke people very easily, and their line, I could not shoot them. It was hard. I found it very difficult to get by them. So as a complete team, and their quarterback was very good too. This is the first time I saw him in action, and he was making all the throws. I mean, again, it doesn't say much, throwing 4 or 5 touchdowns on us, but just by looking at the throws he was making, he seemed like he knows what he was doing. So I would give the edge to Dime City on that one.
All right, I think me and us are in agreement. Kyle, do you think Boonton is better than Dime City?
No, I don't, and that's why I have Dime City ranked over them. I'm just thinking they're the two. I mean, when I look at these teams, I see them being very close to one another. We lost to both of them by multiple scores. We lost worse to Boonton. I walked away a little bit more impressed by Boonton, but I still think Dime City's better, and obviously they showed that when they played head-to-head, Dime City won, so I'm going to give it to Dime City. And plus, just looking back to last year, too, Dime City went to the semifinals. They beat the Knights, a very good team, in the playoffs last year, and, Boonton is better this year, but weren't so great last year. Anyway, we got the Hurricanes, and Horace, this is a team that Azhar, you played on last year, and this is a team that they've, they're worse, let's be honest, than last year. And we went out and played, and we lost 6-8. We gave up pick 6. Props to them. They schemed it up perfectly. Our quarterback, who's Collis Span, he'll go out and he'll say, listen, the throw's all on me, They got me. They really schemed it up well. They put the defensive end out in the flat. He caught an interception, took it to the house, and you got to give props to them on that one. But other than that, they didn't do too much offensively.
They did nothing. They did absolutely nothing. Our defense you guys just tore it up, man. Just real quick, what would you say is the biggest difference from this year's team as to last year's Hurricanes? What changed?
Well, you know the answer to that, right? I mean, it's me.
Well, besides you not being there, of course, but
no, honestly, I mean, obviously we played against them, and I've watched, bits and pieces of their game, and to be honest, I thought they had a better squad this year. They added a couple of athletes that obviously we didn't have last year. One of them being this, again, I'm not good with names. He's kind of my height, my type of player. They added him, and he's really shifty, quick, and fast. So, watching against us, he was a running back, and we could not stop him, right? So, so again, that doesn't mean much, but it means something, right? So, I really thought they had a better team. Although their quarterback this year is different than who we had last year, who I really liked. I'm not sure why he didn't come back. I don't know if he was asked again or not, but I liked him. The guy could throw the football.
He's on with Terrence, right? Terrence Highsmith?
Yes, Terrence Highsmith, yep. So, I thought he was really good, and I thought he was going to come back, although we had some, team chemistry issues and, obviously having Kilkenny on the team, right? He was the quarterback the year before when they won the championship, and I think he always, being the competitor that he is, he wants the ball in his hands when it's crunch time, right? So we had a little bit of issues with that last year whenever we were down. So, but in my opinion, I think Highsmith was a better quarterback. Kilkenny is obviously a better overall athlete, right, playmaker. But this year they came out, Highsmith wasn't there, and I don't think Kilkenny played QB at all this year. So maybe kind of combination.
He definitely did because I saw that he played quarterback against Dime City.
Oh, he did. Okay. Yeah, I don't know. These guys, obviously they're not getting any younger. Each year, some of the core people on that team, they get older and older, and obviously you can't do some of the things that you were able to do. You lose, believe it or not, every year that goes by, you lose that winning passion. You still have it in you, but you can't make some of the plays that came out of that passion the first year you played, the second year you played, right? So that happens too. and I think that probably what happened this year. They had a lot of new guys. Maybe they needed to gel, so it'll take probably another year or two until they get to the top again. But I mean, they're obviously they're a contender. They're in the playoffs. They might win this year. You never know, right? But yeah, I mean that's kind of my 2 cents on Hurricanes.
I mean, we've seen upsets in the playoffs the past 2 years. There's VS over Union, and then there was the Code Red over the Hurricanes. So, like you said, a lower seed could win at any given moment. So, speaking of Code Red, Kyle, any final thoughts on them?
I think they had a very impressive win over GPAC, 38-0. Azhar, did you guys feel the full team for that game? This was a couple weeks ago. This was like what, week 9 or?
Yeah, I would tell you. I think after week 4 or 5, we were just short every week. Guys started to drop out. I mean that's kind of. It's just when you don't win games, people are not really excited to come out. But we had a lot of new guys that weren't really committed from the beginning. So I would say after probably week 5. We didn't have a full turnout. So, and I think with Code Red, I think we played with like 8 people, 8 or maybe 9.
Okay.
But yeah, I mean, they handed it to us.
So basically, it was like even in terms of personnel on the field, right?
Well, you played with 10. Right?
No, I'm joking. Because both teams have had attendance issues. So.
Yeah, I don't know if they did that game, but I could be wrong.
All right, so
I guess my final thoughts on Code Red heading into the postseason, Har, since you asked, is they kind of are what we thought they were, right? I mean, they were a team that never really put up too much offensively, but they seem to be pretty steady with putting up 6. Even put up 6 against Spartans, put up 6 against Union. But look at the past 2 weeks: Hurricanes 0-10, Dime City 0-26, and I think really that poor line play is really showing right now.
I would say, I mean, in regards to Code Red, I always said the more passionate team or the more energetic team always has a chance to win. And they come out, Code Red always comes out with a lot of passion, a lot of energy. They've got Zach, right? That's one of the names I think.
Zach Ramjan.
Zach Ramjan. He's a great athlete. I mean, the guy can jump out of a gym. So he made some plays against us, and I've seen him make plays against other teams. What's his name? Their tight end, and who's also a commissioner.
Sammy Shaban?
Sammy. Believe it or not, he's very underrated. I mean, he's a sneaky guy. Like, he'll block most of the game, and one play he'll sneak out and he's throwing the ball, and he has a knack for the ball, so he goes up and gets it. They have the other guy who's similar type of player. Again, it's not really good.
About Mo Amin?
Huh?
Mo Amin or Harun Tahir?
Harun, right? I mean, Harun's like we couldn't stop him. I mean, we don't have much height, right? So you throw up the ball to Harun, I think he can go up and get it too. They've got some players, and Mo is another one. He's a big dude. He plays with a lot of passion, a lot of charisma. Mm-hmm. So they have a shot. And Harun's their quarterback, so any given play he can scramble out and make a throw on a broken play. They could go for a touchdown. So they're a good team.
All right, so I feel like I missed out when I made my shortlist for MVP. I feel like I have to put Zach Ramjan on that. That guy has balled out this year. I feel like he's the heart and soul of Code Red. He's the one that keeps them relevant in games. I feel like I mean, going off my own mental tally, I feel like he would lead the league in picks. I've seen him pick, like, every time I stick around and watch the games, I feel like he has at least one. I've seen him pick off the Hurricanes twice. That guy, I think he was this year's Abdul Salam.
Fair enough. He's definitely got a little bit more athletic ability than Abdul. We'll give him that.
Abdul's going to resent that, but...
And I tell you what, Zach, he was coming up from North Carolina, so he had, I guess, some attendance issues last year. He was on Gladiators this year. I don't know. Maybe it's something when these really good players join Gladiators, they just start having attendance issues. I don't know what's the deal because Zach didn't make too many games last year. Now Abdul's not making too many games this year. So
Hmm. All right, so
Abdul, we surely missed you this year.
I guess that basically wraps us up for the power rankings. We haven't changed the past three in like God knows how long. So
Yeah, that's been a very long time,
Yeah,
except for
I
the one
think
week where you decided to bump VS way up there, Horace.
that was like week two. Come on.
Okay, so let's move on to our interview portion, and you could tell Mr. Black Mamba, he wanted to get right into it talking about GPAC, so we'll get there. And on that notion, Azhar, so you played with the Hurricanes last year. You tasted a lot of victories last year. It was, what, 7 regular season victories, if I'm not mistaken. Why the switch back to GPAC?
look, the switch in the first place happened because I think the core guys, right? And the core, when I say the core guys, it's me, Asher, Moise, Taki, Mansoor. Some of the, we were childhood friends. We grew up together. We played football all the time. So these are the core guys of the team that I consider. And mutually we decided that, hey, you know what? We've had 3 or 4, I forget, losing seasons. There were some, uh, disagreements of who should. I mean, we always have a disagreement on who should quarterback, who should do this, who should do that, right? So then we decided mutually, respectfully, that hey, let's break up. Let's all go out and play for other teams and really see how other teams, play, practice, their behaviors throughout the season. At least that was my goal, right? I wanted to play for a good team and see what they do, and see why we're bad, right? So we split up. Moise went to Code Red, Asher went to VS, and I went to Hurricanes. And we had fun, right? We played for different teams. We had fun. But after the season was over, I mean, every week we would see each other and play for different teams, and we were like, what are we doing, right? It's fun to drive together. It's fun to play together. It's fun to go out to eat after the game. So we missed all of that. So that's when we decided, hey, you know what? Let's come back. Let's give it another shot. We apparently thought we could do it, and that's why we got together this year, and that's how the season happened.
There's definitely a rom-com storyline in there somewhere. I'm just saying. So,
Yeah,
okay.
Yeah,
definitely.
no, that's a true
What
story. I mean,
storyline?
there's no like, hey, we got into a fight and blah blah blah. It was a mutually agreed type of thing. Let's go out, and obviously we would have loved to play together in another team, right? So if Code Red took all 3 of us, we would have played there. If Hurricanes took all 3 of us, we would have played there. We love football way too much to not play a season, right? So I played for the Hurricanes, and Moise played for Code Red, and Asher played for VS. So that's kind of how it turned out.
Yeah. Okay, so my next question is, and this one might sting a bit. You guys gave up 333 points this year. What happened to your guys' defense? Did you guys even trot out people on the field on defense, or what happened?
Yeah, look, I'll tell you straight up, and when you played on our team, I keep it pretty honest and sometimes too honest, and a lot of people don't like it. We don't have good players, right? I could probably count, on one finger how many good players that I think we have that can actually play and start on another team, right? Other than that, I mean, we've got role players that no other team wants. We take them, and that's that, right? So regardless of what kind of scheme we played, if we practice or not, we just don't have the talent to stop a lot of these teams. I mean, you get Spartan who've got linemen who weighs twice as much as our linemen, so they're going to run the ball on us all day. Right? We can't do anything. And that's what happens. You play with Spartans, you play with a lot of these aggressive teams. You guys could have run the ball every play, and I guarantee you it's a 15, 20-yard game, right? So it really comes down to talent, and we didn't have good talent. And again, like I said, outside of our core guys, it's one of those things where, hey, no other team wants you. Hey, come on, we've got a spot for you. So that's how GPAC was this year. I mean, there's not much to it. You can't really play defense with, the type of talent we had.
Yeah, one thing I did like, I remember when you guys were making your comeback. Like, I was looking at the roster and it's just like you guys just didn't have any weight on your line. Just like the heaviest guys were like you had two heavy guys. One guy was like 250, the other one probably somewhere around that range. I just didn't see it. Like you guys do.
I mean,
This is a league where the line play is very important, and if you can't protect the passer, you're not going very far.
yeah, I mean, it's not just protection, right? It's aggressiveness on defense where you have to go get the quarterback, right? So, I mean, you watch some of our games. I mean, we get all the highlights every week, and the opponent's quarterback can sit there all day and throw the ball, right? So that means we have no pass rush. A lot of times believe it or not, we only have one guy rushing. So I mean, that's kind of the story, or has been the story all year long. So
Uh,
so.
so
I think you guys set a JAMS record too. I'm not sure. Maybe our JAMS historians can dig into the record books and find this out for sure. But I don't think any team has went 0-10 before.
what about sorry, the game breakers last year?
I think they tied one game though. They tied their first game of the year, so I think they won 0-9-1.
Wait, at least we're in the record books, right? That's the kind of the positive outlook.
Yeah, for sure. You can you always hang your hat on that. But no. So honestly, this isn't one of the questions I intended to ask, but just because you had talked about like, hey, if Code Red wanted to take all three of us, we would have played with them. If another team did, we would have played with them. So being that you guys had such a lackluster season to say the least, are you guys going to bring GPAC back next year? Or are you guys going to look to, obviously you're a very talented player, Moy's very talented player, probably could have been a little bit more utilized when playing with Code Red. You guys are dedicated, you show up. Are you guys going to try to play somewhere else, or are you going to try to bring back GPAC and
Tough
spend
out another one.
tough out
Yeah,
another one and spend a whole offseason really trying to recruit committed guys?
yeah. I mean, that's a good question. We halfway through the season, to be honest, we decided that we were going to bring back GPAC next year again, and we're going to drop pretty much the entire team from this year, and really go out and get a true line, right? People who know how to block, people who want to play line. I mean, we had this year, we had a line that wanted to queue. Everyone on our team wants to play quarterback. So we need to go out and get a line that really likes and enjoys blocking, enjoys rushing, right? So that's our goal. If we can find 4 or 5, 6 linemen, maybe another 1 or 2 athletes who can play a running back, a true running back. If we can do that, the plan is to bring GPAC back next year if we can find the right guys. If not, then I don't think we want to go through another season like this, right? So I think we'll probably just play for another team, and we'll try to, like, at least me, Moise Asher, and a couple of the other guys will try to get on a same team if they take us. But the plan is to I really want to bring GPAC back with committed guys, and I've grown up too. In the past, 5 years we've played. The first year, second year, I mean, I had a way different personality than I had this year, right? It was more relaxed. It was more, open for change, at least from my opinion. So who knows? I mean, I think next year I want to bring it back. I want to do it the right way and compete. So.
Are you going to be captain next year, or is it still going to be under Sif's captainship?
I think no. So Safe just got engaged, and he's gonna get married sometime soon. So I don't think he's coming back next year. I don't think we all know that. We all joke around because Even this year, I think he stopped coming after the half of the season. So no, Safe is not gonna be captain. Asher is gonna bring the team back next year if we do bring it back, and he'll run the team.
I have a question for you. Why are you purposely mispronouncing your own brother's name?
I don't know. That's a good question.
I was
Everyone
wondering
knows it.
I was wondering the same thing, but
I actually call him Ash, but everyone knows him as Asher. So it's I don't know. That's a good question. That's kind of weird.
I guess going off what
Usher.
they phonetically know. All right, so
by the way, hold on. One little public service announcement. Anyone, you're out there, you're currently unhappy with your role. You love JAMS, but you don't like your current role on your team. GPAC will welcome you with open arms if you're a committed player that actually has some talent. So just putting that
so
out
you're
there.
recruiting for them now. So you're recruiting for them now.
We appreciate that. I appreciate that. But no, I think, again, we don't want guys who are unhappy because I feel like if someone's unhappy with their role in their current position is really, I think it's going to be the same with GPAC. We want happy guys who are looking for maybe a challenge, if you will, right? To join us. So definitely not looking for unhappy people who are not going to listen and kind of do whatever that is they want in the team. I think next year it's going to be more of a dictatorship in terms of leadership than what we did thus far, right? We've got everyone with a voice in the team, and I think football is one of those sports where you can't have 10 different voices, right? You really need one leader who obviously has to be a good leader that runs the team, right? And this year we didn't have that. We had everyone wanted to play quarterback. We had everyone want to run the scheme on defense. We had everyone, wanted to be a wide receiver. It just doesn't work like that, right? You need one leader who's gonna pretty much lead the team. So I think we're looking for.
In other words, you guys had too many Chiefs and not enough Indians.
You could say that.
Okay. I got another question for you. Forget what position you like playing. We all know you like to play quarterback. I remember you put, and I just was thinking about finding it myself and maybe bringing it on here for show you some highlights of plays that you've made. I remember you made a highlight tape of yourself throughout the years of plays where you're playing quarterback and juking people out and what have you. I don't even know how I would find that. I'd really have to comb through the JAMS archives to find that.
That's a 2-year-old video.
Yes, but what position are you best at playing? Offense and defense. What position are you best at playing?
That's a good question. So I wouldn't go as far as, to be honest with you, and Kyle, when you were on the team too, I was never opposed to playing another position. I mean, we've been through many quarterbacks, right, at GPAC. Mm-hmm. We had Tremaine come in and Q, and as we pretty much handed the team to Tremaine and say, hey, run your offense, right? We had this year we had the guy with the name of Ross. He came and never seen him, played, came out, started a game as a quarterback, right? So I'm not opposed to guys coming in and playing. I'm not saying that you're making that acquisition, but I'm not really opposed to people coming in and playing quarterback, as long as we as a team say, you know what, this guy can actually lead us to a victory. I mean, this guy can make the throws. He doesn't cause turnovers. He can run. He can, obviously in flag you have to be able to scramble. Unless you have a good line, you can't just sit in the pocket and throw, right? So I want to start out by saying that. Now, the position that I like to play, to be honest, I like playing receiver. I love catching the ball, as long as someone obviously can deliver the ball. And I also like playing quarterback, right? I mean, and it's one of those things where, every year I say, hey, I'm not going to quarterback. Let's find a quarterback. And it just turns out that a couple of games into the season, either the quarterback quits on us, because obviously if you don't have a line to protect, the guy can only do so much, so he quits. Or it's some of the other guys like Usher, my younger brother, and Moise and Taki. I mean, they all say, Azar, you really have to be quarterback, right? You're the only one who can cue.
Did we lose him?
So that's really what I mean. Do I like playing quarterback? Sure, but I'm not opposed to playing receiver, running back. In fact, that's what I played in the Hurricanes. I was a running back, sometimes a slot receiver, and I was okay with that. I mean, I like doing that. I can play that and be satisfied.
Didn't you play a lot of linebacker with Hurricanes?
Oh, I did. Yeah. So with Hurricanes, I played linebacker. Yeah, I mean that's kind of not my natural position, but I think they thought that I was good at making tackles. I was fast, end-to-end speed. Maybe I had some kind of a knack for the football, made some interceptions. So they liked me at linebacker, so that's what I played. But I'd rather play safety.
So again, your absolute best position. I just want the answer. Is it cornerback? Is it receiver? What is your best position? How would you like the best?
I like playing quarterback the best.
I would say his best position by far was running back. Just because you're so shifty in a small amount of space, you can juke a lot of players as long as you go in the right direction.
Catching screens out of the backfield too. I think we saw you catch a couple screen passes on film last year, and I think that was pretty effective. Sounds like Find My iPhone is going off for someone. I'm not sure who, but okay.
All right.
Horace, you got another question?
I have another question. I was thinking that maybe we should move on to the playoff predictions.
And before we do that, I just got one more question. We brought on our guest, and I want to ask him questions.
All right, okay.
All right, so Azhar, the selection process for the All-Star game. I know you expressed a little displeasure about not getting selected, maybe being snubbed in the past. I'm trying to think. I don't think you got a bid last season, even though you were very much a candidate for it. I'm trying to think if you have gotten selected within the past couple of years that I can remember. I can't exactly remember that, even though I think you've been a prime candidate each year. But why do you think you've been snubbed? You haven't made it. See there?
Hold on.
Hold on, Azhar. Azhar, you're breaking up a little bit.
I don't know how this whole.
Wait, Azhar, can you say that over again? We didn't catch that.
Yeah, so I don't know how this process works in terms of who goes to the Pro Bowl, quote unquote. But I think it's simple, right? I mean, if your team is losing, then it's hard for anyone to say, okay, you know what, you've got this guy on this team who's going to go to the Pro Bowl. So I would say, I wouldn't say I was snubbed. Although I don't know. I mean, I don't really look at a game, to be honest, as a game to validate my skills. Although I mean, it is for that, right? If you're good, you go to the Pro Bowl. Like I said, I mean, and again, I don't know how the players are picked. As far as from my understanding was the captain says, okay, but you guys. The captain picks a guy from his team and says you go Pro Bowl. And what happens, right? Am I wrong?
Yeah, I actually took part in the selection committee last year, and I think Horace, you were a part of it the year before that, right?
Yeah, it was.
Okay, so basically it's like
I didn't know that there was a.
Yeah, so so it is the admins, and I think they try to get a couple other people as well, so it's not just the admins. And basically they have like a big spreadsheet of all the different positions, and each guy gets to elect. It's like a spreadsheet with like different cells, and you get to type in the guy's name that you think should be there. And basically, if a guy is unanimous, he's across the board. He's definitely going to make it. And let's say there's one guy who he's only been nominated by one, maybe two guys on the committee, then there's time for debate there. Like, okay, so do we think that this guy should get in over this guy? Because obviously only so many guys are going to get in. And then, as you said, there is also a certain portion of it, like the better teams are obviously going to get more all-stars. You know, a team that goes 1-9 is not going to get as many all-stars. They might get one or two guys, depending on how good those guys are. But so like let's say, for example, Swag, you know, they only have like 2 or 3 guys who are going to go on the All-Star game. You know, someone from the committee is going to be like, you know what, we got to get more Swag guys on here. I mean, this team only has 1 loss, so that's kind of how it works, more or less. But anyway, I think as you said, as a player, you really should be caring more about wins and losses than your own personal accolades. So anyway, Horace, let's go on to the
And
playoff.
like I said, I mean, I play quarterback, right? So when you're selecting quarterbacks, you're going to select Rajab, you're going to select Omar, you're going to select um, uh,
Corey?
Kilkenny, right? Those are your quarterback, and their teams win consistently, right? If GPAC won consistently and I was the quarterback, then I'm sure I would feel, uh, if I didn't get selected, I would feel that I was snubbed. But that's not the case, right? So that's why I don't feel like I'm snubbed.
Yeah, and really only 2 quarterbacks generally make it, so it's
Mhm.
it's a very limited, you know, group there. Okay, so let's go on to the playoffs. I pulled up the
Yeah.
schedule before. Let me put it up on the
Uh,
screen.
I will say before you guys move on, I do think that I can be a good lead quarterback. It's just we just haven't had line to protect me. So once we find that, you'll see that I can some tools out there. I'm not just a scrambling, running back and forth type of player.
All right. So, ready, Kyle?
I'm ready. So, and by the way, we're going to get Azhar's picks on this too. And if you noticed, I had Facebook up there before. Azhar's camera was cutting out before, and we couldn't see him in his lovely gym that he's got at his home. So I was trying to find a picture of him while he was talking because it was just a black screen. So I tried to find some photos on the JAMS Facebook page, but I couldn't find any. So I'm sorry about that.
All right. So, first game of the 2015 playoffs.
You guys,
Hmm?
Azhar, maybe you could. I don't know if you could maybe relocate upstairs or somewhere. Maybe you can try to find a better connection because you seem to be cutting out just a little bit recently. First game is Knights Dime City. This is an 8:30 a.m. game. All games are this Sunday at the North Arlington Field.
I just don't like that field for the playoffs, but I guess that's what the Jams League kind of got. So, I don't know.
I mean, correct me if I'm wrong, but I remember most of the games, if not all the playoff games, being at Torpy last season. And
I'm,
even before that, I remember the championship game my first year being at Torpy. It always seemed like Torpy was the playoff field.
I think it just happened, like what happened with scheduling and whatnot.
Yeah, that's got to be the reason.
Okay. So, Knights Dime City, first game playoffs. When these guys met earlier, I think Knights won 6-0. So, as for this score, I'm going to say the final score will be 12-8 for the Knights.
12-8 Knights, and I think the first time they squared off, which was week 7-ish, it was 13-7 Knights. I know that this is actually the game. Just speaking to Casey, he said that this is the game that they wanted. I don't know if I should be saying that out there, but he wants to play Knights. I mean, maybe it's because they lost to him. Obviously, you kind of want your rematch, you want your revenge, and they had such a great game last season in the playoffs. So obviously, a matchup that they wanted again. This is a tough one for me. I mean, personally, when we went against these two teams, I was more impressed by Dime City. And I know you didn't come to that Knights game, but had you come to that game, I think you would have been more impressed when we played Dime City as well.
It's what happens when you oversleep. But I don't know, just like watching from the sidelines. I mean, the Knights did beat Dime City in really bad weather. It was the weekend of like that overblown hurricane, and it was a one-score game. It was dark, wet. It wasn't There wasn't optimal playing conditions, but I'm gonna stand by them. I'm gonna stay with the victors of that one. Like I said, 12-8. Uzzer, do you have a final score prediction?
Uh, yeah, I would say I'm gonna pick the Knights over Knight, and I'm gonna say 6-0
Wow, wow, okay.
Knights.
Shutout for the Knights. It's really hard to argue that Dime City's going to go out and beat the Knights when you see the Knights just won 20-6. But you
Mm.
know what? I'm picking Dime City in this one. I just got this intuition just to go with Dime City. I don't know what
Those,
it is, but
those,
I'm gonna
those definitely love you for that.
I'm gonna flip your score, Horace. I'm gonna go. I'm not gonna make it 12-8, but 12-7. Dime City.
Okay. What about for the second game?
Okay, so then our second game, 9:45, is Union versus Boonton, and just like last season, it was a week 11 matchup. Last regular season game we saw Knights Dime City, and then they played the very next week in the playoffs, and then similarly this season, Union and Boonton squared off last week, and then they're going to face again this week. Horace, or let's start with Black Mamba. Azhar, what are your thoughts on this game?
Union and who did? Um, I'm gonna say Union over Boomton because simply because I think Union are the Spurs. They play very fundamental football and they are consistent and every year they're kind of along the top half of the ranking. So um, I'm gonna pick Union and my final score I would say 12-6.
Hmm. Kyle?
Yeah, so Union, they seem to be, they're missing one of their good players. His name is slipping my mind at the moment. Horace, help me out here. He was one of James Abdullah. Is that his name? I haven't
Yeah.
seen him all season.
He's not playing. He's coaching high school, I believe.
Okay, and I think he was coaching last year too. Maybe it was just too much for him to do, but he's an excellent player. So I think they were lacking a little bit in the skill position department, but they added a couple guys. We saw them last week, guys I'd never seen before. I know
Hey,
one of
Matt
them.
Karima moved back for one game.
Not and that too. So and now the question is he here for the playoffs?
I don't think so. I think it was just a 1 week thing.
I think it was just a 1 week thing because that's a game changer. Because what is the weakness of Boonton, Horace?
Their line, and then Kareem Mahmood is one of the best linemen when he plays, or when he
Yeah.
last played, rather.
So I mean, in my mind, even if they double him, he could still get consistent pressure in the face of Boonton.
And yeah,
And
and if they double him, that frees up Russo.
yeah, and Russo led the league in sacks last year. I think I went out and said that I think he was the best pass rusher last year when we did our end of the season awards. So I don't know, man. I have to go with Union in this one. Although I do like Boonton. I think they're a hot team that's playing better, but just got to go with Union. And I think they win this one by 2 scores. I think Union wins 20-8.
Wow. Okay, so I'm gonna be a bit more bold. I'm gonna say it's Union, but I'm gonna say they win 2018.
20-18. Wow. Yeah, I
And
mean
a barn burner.
this Boonton team, they can put up points. There's no doubt about it. They put up 34 easily against us, Horace. They made it look easy.
Hmm. All right, so Spartans versus Hurricanes.
Spartans Hurricanes, 11 o'clock. I have a feeling this could be a pretty good game. I feel like Spartans just kind of tapered off a little bit. They're not playing with that same fire.
Hmm.
They're starting to make some mistakes. And the Hurricanes, I think they're going to have that bad taste in their mouth from the playoffs last season. They played really well 2 weeks ago against Code Red, but like I said, I wasn't entirely impressed with what they did last week. Horace, you pick first on this one.
I was about to do a coin toss, just looking at the regular season matchup. Spartans won 12-8, but I feel like that was a completely different Hurricanes team. And another thing to note is the Spartans did lose 2 out of the last 3. It's I mean, yeah, it was against Union Knights, but I think Hurricanes are playing up to the level. Their defense was outstanding against us. Uh, as for the final score, I'll say I think I'm gonna go with 7-0 here for the Spartans.
Fair enough. Black Mamba, what do you think?
Yeah, I'm gonna say I think the Spartans are bleeding, right? They lost this last game. Um, the Knights, took it to them, and I think the week before they played a short-handed VS, so that doesn't count. But I think the Spartans are bleeding, and I think the Hurricanes are gonna put them away. So I would say 6-0 Hurricanes.
Wow. Wow.
Yeah.
6-0 for the
And I like
Kings.
to keep the scores low, so I don't have to do much math.
But you're kind of a math guy by profession. I mean, you're accountant. I mean, actually, I had this conversation with you before. You told me there's not too much math as you'd think in accounting. So maybe I don't know what I'm talking about.
And plus, we've got adding machines, right? So not much math.
Okay, so I can't see the Hurricanes winning this one. We played against both these teams. Like I said, I was expecting a little bit more from the Spartans when we did play them, but I certainly was much more impressed with them than I was Hurricanes. And I guess another question is, how many guys are going to show up for the Hurricanes? I remember I heard one of their players saying to the ref last week, hey man, when we got a full squad, man, we're really good. And the ref's like, yeah, but you say that every week. But the ref was kind of agreeing with him, saying, yeah, when you do have your guys, you are good. But I think they'll come out with a lot of guys in this game, but they're just not better than the Spartans. So I'm going to go with Spartans, and I think it's going to be 13-6.
Okay. Final game: Swag versus Code Red.
Yeah, I'll go first on this one. This one's going to be a shutout. This is going to be 26-0 Swag. Code Red, they haven't put up a point in their last two games. Swag is a better defense than we have given them credit for in the entire season. And they're going to go out and they're going to show that they're the better team. And, tip your cap to Code Red. Having as little amount of players that show up on a weekly basis for them, they've played hard. But they're just an inferior team.
Azur, what do you think about the final score for this one? Swag and Code Red.
Yeah, I think obviously Swag is the better team, and I think they're even better when Ultimush is there, which I don't think he's going to be there. Last week he was there when they played against us because he was on break, but he just puts them on a different level, right?
I do think he will play in this game. I know that he put in he asked if it was okay. He only played in 2 regular season games, but I know that he asked if he's eligible to play. So I think he's going to be there.
And Ultimush is one of the best athletes when he plays as well. It's another Kareem Mahmoud situation where the good players have to leave for real life things.
Yeah. And look at the trend. I mean, I don't want to go off topic, but look at all these good players in Gen. I mean, they're a product of GPAC, right? You've got Altamash, you've got D-Lo, you've got Abdul.
Right.
What about your very own Kyle Smith and Horace?
I'll name you guys too, Kyle and Horace. So all you guys are a product of GPAC, and there's a commonality there. So and Altamash as well. I mean, Altamash is a true. We started off, which was 5 years ago. Altamash was one of the main guys, and we were really a contender back in the day. So with him, they're a totally different team. Without him, I think they're still good enough to beat Code Red. So I think I'm gonna say what. I'm gonna say 24-6.
Okay.
That's a common number for Code Red to put up, 6 points. My question is, what position is Ultimush going to play if he does play?
Well, he's not playing quarterback, and he's just as dangerous as a wide receiver or running back.
Well, I'm asking Mamba, what do you think he's going to play?
He plays running back, and he's going to play defensive back. He's a running back and a D-back. He's not a quarterback. I mean, he played quarterback for us a few games with GPAC just because he's a good athlete and he can run. But no, he can't throw the ball. So he's a running back and a defensive back for them.
Yeah, he actually played he played some quarterback for Swag a couple years ago too. I think it was our first year in the league, Horace. I think Swag, their quarterback, had went down with an injury that season, and he kind of took over playing. And I even saw him play some defensive end last season on film. So he's kind of one of those guys that literally can play all over the field.
Yeah.
So I'll give my
Yeah, he
final
lost.
score really quick. I'll say, continue with the 6 trend, I'll say Code Red 6, Swag 20. I think it'll be a little bit closer than we're predicting.
Okay, fair enough.
This is Code Red they seem to be a playoff team, man. Something
You know,
about the playoffs just makes them fired up.
for whatever reason last season, they had, some weeks where they only had 8 guys, 10 guys, 11 guys. It was very little guys that showed up every week. But when I went to that playoff game where they played Azhar's Hurricanes, there was a good 15, 16, maybe 17 guys there for that game.
Mm-hmm.
I'd never seen them have attendance like that before. So maybe we'll see the same thing this season. But anyway, I think, Azhar, you had something to say. Was it about Ultimash or Swag or?
Yeah, no, I was gonna say Ultimash lost. He trimmed down a lot. So there was a couple of years back he could have played any position even on the defensive line, but he's trimmed down. So I think he's a true D-back and running back now. I mean, he focuses on speed and all that stuff. So he's not the same Ultimash that we knew back in the day, who was really he played fullback, believe it or not, in high school, I think.
Yeah, I actually played against him. He was North playing field, South playing field. He was a fullback.
Yeah, he was a big boy back in the day. So he would tell you, we taught Altamash everything he knows about football. So don't let him take all the credit for it. I remember when he was 6, 7, or 8 years old, and he when we used to play out in the park, he used to be our center. So we introduced him to football, and he owes some, if not all, of his football skills to us. I'll take the credit for that.
All right, so I guess that basically wraps us up for this week. It's the beginning of the playoffs. I kind of like how the games are in the warmer weather, as opposed to going into the dark, dreary cold of December.
I'm gonna have to disagree with you. I like playing in the elements. I really do. that game that we played in the pouring rain a couple weeks ago, I love those types of games.
I was a fan of the 6 a.m. 20-degree weather. Actually, if it was 20 degrees. I remember we had a game in 4 degrees.
I'm sorry, your thoughts about playing in the elements versus the warmer weather?
Well, football is meant to be played in all elements, right? And in any type of weather. But if you were to ask me, I'm more of a Peyton Manning type of player. I like to play in a controlled environment, and I don't like to play in the rain. I actually like playing in the snow. Snow I'll play in. Rain I don't do. And as I'm getting older, extremely cold weather I don't do. Because my legs freeze up, my throwing shoulder freezes up. So I would say, if it's in the 40s or 50s, it's good. But, anything less, I'm not a big fan.
All right, guys. So it's been a pleasure. Anything else?
As always, I have nothing else. Black Mamba, do you have anything else before we close this off?
No, I think, this is, I would say one thing I want to say is that you guys are doing a good thing with these podcasts and these kind of weekly shows. And I would even go as far as saying this adds a lot of value to the league. And if the league is not paying you guys might want to get an agent to negotiate that. If not a cash payment, at least they should pay your fees. Because I mean it. I mean, I think you guys, everyone tunes in, people enjoy this, and it's fun. So I think they should definitely waive your fees or pay you guys something on a weekly basis. So work that out. I will certainly vote for that.
Hey, I kind of like where this is going.
That was very kind of you. We weren't expecting that. So
yeah.
Well, hey, it's on camera. I mean, it's recorded, so it's out there. Anyway, this is real fun. We hope we get the stats up sometime too, because.
Yeah. Wait. Yeah, and I want to put a disclaimer: as long as it doesn't raise our fees.
Oh,
And it's
okay. Fair enough. We don't want that either. We do not want anyone's fees to get raised. All right. So this is another episode of the Jams Football Show. This is the first week of the playoffs. Enjoy the games. Be smart. Don't do nothing stupid. And we will see you next week. And thanks again, Black Mamba, for joining us.
Yep, you got it. Take care, guys.